Today I'm going to show you how to do a steel line hot tap using DN150 Tonisco hot tap valve. These are basically designed to use in district heating lines and district cooling lines. And now the pipe is mimicking the district heating line. It has 6 bar pressure inside. And now I'm going to show you how to do a DN150 hot tap with Tonisco B30 hot tap machine. The new concept means that they all come in a handy suitcase, which is relatively easy to handle. But the main point is that all parts have their own place, so the machine is easy to use, and also the machine stays in good shape because all the parts after use will be cleaned and put into their own places. Okay. All hot taps using Tonisco valves will begin by cleaning the valve. The DN150, also known as 6-inch, has inner thread. So it will be connected through an outer thread adapter to the inner thread in the valve. So we're gonna clean all the surfaces, the thread, and also the groove where the actual sealing is located. This is really important to always check that everything is clean, because it's easy to get some waste everywhere when you do the welding. Also check the groove, that the groove is clean. You can also use compressed air if you have it on site. But before doing that, let's put on the safety glasses. After we have cleaned the thread and the valve, we will take the Swiss plate with the handle. We will clean the Swiss plate as well. Add the lubrication to the Swiss plate, both sides. And then we will push the plate inside the valve, number 1 to lubricate the sealings, and number 2 to check that it goes all the way. Like that. It goes all the way. It also cleans all the waste. Then you take it away again, clean if there's any waste, and if there's a lot of waste, please clean it, lubricate it, and do it again. The most important thing is to try to avoid any rubbish going to the valve. Okay. Then the next step is to visually check that everything is okay. The welding seams look okay, the connecting welding looks okay, and in this example we have used a welding ring. So we have formed a special reinforcement ring. We have welded that under pressure to the main pipe, and then we have made a connection welding to the valve and the welding ring. This is one option how to do this. But you can also mount the valve directly to the main, and maybe, if needed, use a reinforced collar. The hot tap procedure starts by assembling the shaft, and for that we have to measure the length from the surface of the pipe on the surface of the valve. And here it's 32 centimeters, which means that I'm going to use a long pilot plus a long cutter. Then I'm going to need also 2 extra extensions. But you can of course check all of these from the manual. So assembling the shaft, take the base shaft, insert the right amount of shaft extensions on the base shaft. And now I know that it's going to be 2 extensions. Then we're gonna take the large chuck, because all the Tonisco valves are full bore. So also 6-inch or DN150 in this case is also full bore. So it means that we are going to make a full bore hole, which is now 140 millimeters. And for that, we're gonna use the large chuck. Remove the locking screws, insert the chuck, to the shaft like this. Then take the cutter, place it on the chuck, insert the locking screws, screw them on, take the wrench from the suitcase, and tighten the locking screws. Make sure that all the bolts are evenly tight, and then tighten a little bit more. Then we will insert the pilot drill and the pilot drill magnet. The magnet here is really strong, and it's designed to take most of the waste what comes from the drilling procedure. Put it on. Then we choose now the long pilot drill, because we also have the long cutter. We insert the pilot into the chuck so that the notch is towards the locking screw. Fully open the locking screw, let the pilot fall into the place. First tighten it a little bit, and then double check that it will go to the notch. Take a little bit back and check that it's on the notch. Then you can fully tighten the pilot drill. Basically now the shaft is ready. Then what is left, we can now test the shaft without the machine and see that it looks the correct size. I'm almost confident that now it's the right size. Then I'm going to take the Tonisco metal cutting paste, put it on the tip of the pilot drill, as well as on the teeth of the hole saw. This eases up a little bit the cutting, which will make the hole saw and the pilot drill last longer and also make the cut a little bit easier. So we have the center, the pilot drill magnet, we have the cutting paste. Then we can also put an extra magnet on the hole saw, but in this case I don't think we're going to need it. The pilot drill magnet is really strong, so this is enough for this size. Then we're gonna put the shaft aside. We're gonna take the hot tub machine body from the suitcase. Dismantle the body, and like Junior, the hot tub machine has two sections. The hot tubbing machine, the body and the feed socket. For the first assembly, we only need the body. We'll lubricate the sealings, and then we're gonna add the adapter. For Tonisco valves up to 8 inches, so DN200, we have a thread connection. Therefore, the adapter has outside thread and the valve inside thread. We have now lubricated the body, the sealing of the body. Now we're gonna insert the adapter to the body, like this, and then we're going to lubricate the shaft, like this, and inserting it to the body. Like this. And now the machine can be mounted to the valve. For the Tonisco valves, we use actually counterclockwise threads. So which means that it will tighten itself by turning it counterclockwise. And for that, we have the special key, which is here. So make sure that it's level, it's clean, and also make sure that the shaft does not move or turn counterclockwise with the adapter, because there is a small possibility that it will like disassemble the shaft. So hold the shaft and then try to find the right place for the thread. It goes pretty easy after you find the right starting point. Hold the shaft and turn the adapter to its place. It gets a little bit tougher when the O-ring sealings touch the surface. So fully tighten the adapter like that. And then make few turns freely with the shaft clockwise so that it will lock the shaft. And now, before we start, we have to still double check that, because we have the long pilot and the long cutter, we have to take the shaft all the way up and push the plate in to check that the valve or the shaft comes high enough so that we can close the valve. The plate is clean, the shaft is up. We push the plate in, it moves freely. The shaft is the right length. This is really important always to check before you start with any valve. Slowly place the shaft so that it touches the surface of the pipe. And now, again, I will fully open the feed socket like this. I will place it on top of the shaft. And now I see that it doesn't go on the body. So if this happens, we know that the shaft is too long. No worries, we can just take the shaft up and see that we have to remove one extension. Fortunately, we don't have to disassemble the whole package. We can just take away the body like this. But please always remember to turn the shaft clockwise. We can remove the body. And take one extra extension away from the shaft. Like this. Insert it to the base shaft again. And now we have the right size shaft. Insert the body and test it again. But of course, if you would measure it and check the manual, you would immediately assemble the right size shaft. Again, fully open the feed socket. Put it in place, fully tighten it, and now here is our drilling space. But unfortunately, you are never allowed to start hot tapping from the last notch. So here, take it back. Take away the socket, and now we don't have to disassemble the whole package. We can simply add a shaft extension socket on top. Then again, fully open. Put it in place. And now we see that when we tighten the feed socket clockwise, it has found a new starting point, which is perfect for the job. So please keep in mind, never start on the top, because if you start on the top, you cannot get any more extra feed. But when you start somewhere between here, you can always get extra feed distance to your drilling. You will learn it. Then, at this stage, the next step is to pressure test the complete package. We want to highlight the welding seams, the groove, and also the adapter. Now the machine is ready for pressure test. You can use compressed air or compressed water. Now we're gonna use compressed air because it's a little bit more faster and sometimes it's easier to see the leaks. Then we'll use manometer to double check the pressure. Now we have 6 bar compressed air. And when using compressed air, make sure that you have powerful enough compressor so that you can create the pressure hit that is needed to activate the sealings. If you only have a small compressor, please use water. Now we will check the welding seams with the leak detection spray. Also the other welding seams connecting the welding ring to the valve. We see that there's no leaks and the pressure is not falling in the manometer. Then it's also good to check the groove, that there's no leak in the Swiss plate groove. Yeah, everything looks good. So basically now the package is sealed. The welding seams are good. Now I would give a permission to hot tap. Then we want to release the pressure. From the chamber. Or, in order to keep the sealings activated, we could leave some pressure. Especially if you use water, you can basically leave the water pressure inside the valve. But now we're gonna do it like this. I will reinsert the manometer to see when the pilot drill penetrates the pipe. I can see it when the pressure rises on the manometer. Okay, now I'm gonna insert the electric drive unit to the shaft and then I'm gonna start hot tapping. I'm gonna turn the shaft to the right position. Secure the gear to the shaft. With a screw. And this is really important because with this you will make the gear and the hot tap shaft as one. It will stabilize the hot tap and make it go smooth. So now we have done the test pressure, we have checked that the valve closes, we have secured the drive. Basically we are ready to start. Put the electricity on, check that the machine works, and also here we have two different gear selections. For the pilot drill we want to make sure that we have the maximum RPMs. So we will choose number 2 and number 9 from the speed selector. But before we start, let's put our safety gear on. It's good to use some earplugs. Earplugs on, remove the cap, insert the helmet and safety gloves. Now we're ready to start. Let's take a good stance, take a little bit back from the feed socket so that the shaft can move freely, and let's start the pilot drill hot tap. And also here, let the machine do the work. You don't have to use any force. After the pilot drill is through, you may wait for the pressure to get inside the chamber. A couple more turns. Like this. And then you can already here change the gear to number 1. And here a little bit slower, let's say number 5. Now let's feed away the extra space between the pilot drill and the hole saw. So let's find the starting point for the hole saw. From the manometer we can see that the pressure inside the pipe is 6 bars. Now it stops. Let's take a little bit back. And now we are able to start the hole saw drilling. Take a good stance again. Let's start slowly. Also here, let the machine do the work. You take care of the drive unit. And if there is some problem with the cutting, you can always change or alter the speed of the cutting depending which goes better and which goes. But now it seems to go really good, so I'm just gonna continue. If it feels like the counter push from the drive unit is too big, you can, of course, if you have a partner, the other guy can hold the drive unit and the other guy can feed. But while doing it solo, you can have a really good feeling for the drilling. But keep in mind that try to have a good posture, do not excess feed, because if you do that, there's a possibility that the cutter will get stuck. Now, because it's a DN200 pipe and DN150 hot tap, we see that we run out of feeding space with this notch. After that, we need to get more feeding distance. So we simply put our body weight on the socket. We turn it counterclockwise. And we will push it to the next notch, like this. If you have more pressure on the pipe, let's say above 12 bars, you can also use a chain block to ease the pressing. But less than 10 bar is still easy with your body weight. Okay, now we adjust it again. It stops. Now this is the new feeding distance here. But now I also know that it's almost through, so let's continue. And you can easily feel it from the socket and also hear it from the drive unit when it's through. So, but let's make it sure. Then stop the machine and feed without turning. Now we know it's completely through. Okay, the next step is to take up the shaft and close the valve. Adjust the socket counterclockwise, take it away from the notch, and use your own body weight to control, to take up the shaft like this. Release it and let it come all the way up. Then release the drive unit. Release the socket. Take the shaft extension socket away. After this, let's flush it a little bit to get the drilling waste, maximum drilling waste that we can away from the chamber. For that, we will need the pressure relief hose. Put it in place, point the hose away from yourself and start flushing. Release the hose, check that the shaft is all the way up, then take the slice plate, clean it, make sure exactly that there is no sharp waste or anything on the plate. Add the lubricant to the plate on the other side as well. And then push it to the valve and close the valve. Like this. And of course, when pushing it into hot water, please make sure that you have full protection. remove the handle. And release the pressure from the drilling chamber. Also here, if you have a partner, tell him to hold the shaft so that when the pressure releases from the chamber, it doesn't drop on the Swiss plate. But I'm alone, so I'm going to slowly remove the pressure. Like this, and place the drilling shaft on the Swiss plate. Like this. Now, we see from the control cock that there's no leaks. There's no leaks anywhere near the plate. Now we can take the special key and open the adapter. And remember, for the big ones, the thread tightens counterclockwise and opens clockwise. So it opens clockwise. Just keep that in mind when working with the tool. Also here, try to avoid the shaft resting on the Swiss plate when turning. Like this. Remove the shaft. After the hot tap is done, let's disassemble the shaft, put it all parts to the suitcase, and then we're done. So first, remove the pilot, like this. Fully open it, take the pilot out, and then we have these holes here which we can use to dismantle the coupon that we drilled away. Of course we could use also something bigger like a bigger Allen key. To remove the coupon like that. Then we can see that the magnet has taken away some of the waste. And like said, we could also use double magnet. So now we have just finished a DN150 hot tap through Tonisco valve to a DN200 main pipe. It's a normal steel coupon. Let's remove the magnet. Or let's take the also first away. So unscrew the screws. Remove the cutter. Remove the waste. Take off the magnet. Clean the magnet. Then, like with any Tonisco hot tap, the last part is to disassemble the shaft. Take the Tonisco B30 special keys. Place the shaft on even surface. Take the opening pins, and also for the big chuck, you will also need the chuck screws as well. So we will put the special key on the chuck. Place it like this. Insert the special key and the shaft opening pin to the extension like this. And then if you only make one hot tap, it is possible that you can just use your own body weight to open the shaft like this. Remove the special key. And when you always disassemble the machine right after a hot tap, it's much easier than after 2 months. Remove the chuck, then do it all over again. Put the special key, lock it in place, take another special key, lock it in place as well, like that, and then open the shaft. You can also use a hammer. Like that. When you always disassemble the shaft, disassemble everything, clean them, and put them back to the suitcase to the right places, the machine will last forever. So, if you have any questions, contact toniscosales.com.